Nobody can show up to an AI like Lydia, right? Nobody's going to prompt it like you. Nobody has your background, your experience, your connection, your mindset. So somebody else who uses AI in a different way, it's not going to sound like you. Nobody can do it for you, right? So I think that's the most important point is that mark. And I use that when I say it, I use a thumbprint because it's so unique. It's so amazing. You're so distinctive that nobody can replace the you. So what we do is we use AI to do all these things so you can show up bigger as the best part of you here.
Are you afraid of AI? Do you remember last year when SAG-AFTRA went on strike because we were worried about getting our likeness jacked without compensation because of AI? Well, today I am talking to AI master Cynthia Respert, and she is breaking down that we should not be afraid of AI, but instead we should use it to help us in our acting career. So, if this is your first time here, my name is Lydia Nicole, and this is Acting Smarter Now. Can you explain in the simplest terms what AI actually is?
Sure, in simple terms, is the ability of computers to perform tasks that will usually be performed by a human being, by you and I, using human intelligence, like learning, reasoning, data processing, and the like. But it's meant to be a helper, a co creator, and a collaborator, which we'll be talking about today.
So, last year, our union, SAG-AFTRA, went on strike because we wanted to protect our likeness, our any replicas of ourselves in the industry, so that they couldn't take our likeness without compensating us. And that strike lasted a long time, a long, long time. And right now we're at the end, hopefully, of another strike. This one is with the gaming industry, not only of likeness, but of voice and movement, because in gaming it's not just your face, it's also your voice, and it could also be just your movement. So to
Mhm.
protect the individual's likeness, which is a serious thing because that is how we make our money as actors. During the strike, a lot of people wanted to stop AI. Well, AI is here, and so what I wanted to talk to you about is, while the union is making ways to protect us, and Governor Newsom just signed two bills into law in California, one being
Mhm.
AB 1836 and the other one being AB 2602, making it illegal to use AI generated replicas of actors, alive or unalive, that they
Mhm.
have to get permission and give compensation. If the actor is looking for compensation, they have to give that compensation or they cannot use it. So, with that being said, we're in new territory because with technology, things come quickly all the time. So, what can you tell us about AI, all of the actors that are watching, to put them a little at ease? Because there's still shady people out there. What can you tell us about AI that is good? Because
Yeah.
we're on the negative side of it.
Sure. That's such an excellent question and such a relevant perspective that I respect highly. Because we can talk about AI is here, and sometimes forget about the real people that it's impacting. So I appreciate that perspective. One of the things I love to say, Lydia, is AI is here and intended to be an extension of us, not the extinction of us. And that's a quote that I use, still noting that people's jobs are being impacted, right? What I like to say sometimes is we don't miss the milkman anymore, right? Because now we go to the store, right? So the skillment of the day has always been replaced by the industrial revolutions that we go through and the changes that we go through. However, there is a unique sauce that a human being has where human intelligence will always be required. AI is here to amplify our genius, to amplify the good parts of us, to amplify those things that we do amazing. And I think that rule and that regulation is interesting and good because there were no laws about AI and avatars back in the day, right? So that's a good, clear example of the rules and regulations that are catching up to speed, to the speed of which AI is developing. So that's a very important kudos to the legislature there in the state who has implemented that. But on the flip side of that, what I would love to explore is how actors can use AI for good. How do they use it to amplify that genius? How do they make sure that they leverage AI and not have AI use them and have the reverse available, right? We want to use it and not it use us. So there's various ways that that can be done. I know you and we've created some custom GPTs, and you're like a firecracker in this space. You've used it for research and script writing and to mobilize the planner that you had in a paper form, right? And you were able to bring that to life. So I would love to explore some use cases in terms of what actors could use it for. They could use it for actor manuscript training, right? It could write your own monologue. It could create an acting schedule for you. It can create your agency cover letters. It could be your ideation or your co-creation partner. One of these things, and I don't have an affiliate link for this, but I'm going to put this out here because I want people to see what's available. But there's this tool, Lydia, that I didn't even tell you about. It's called slatable.com. And what is empowering actors to do is to do a self read without another reader. So you can practice your scripts without having another person read the other side of the table, a table read, right? So you don't need another person. And I say that and I'm putting that out there because I want people to understand how tech can enable what we do and amplify our genius.
Well, right now, actors have certain apps they can use, like rehearsal. I think it's rehearsal.com. There are a number of apps that are out there that help the actors in their self tapes. So AI is already here. We are seeing it. California has implemented the two bills to protect those actors alive and those actors that have passed on. We need the federal to also implement those laws because they not only protect the actors, but they protect individuals. So that means somebody can't come and take your likeness and say, well, she's not an actress. I can use her because she's a public figure. So we can use it. The whole purpose is to protect everyone's autonomy, to protect their likeness. So I just want to put that out, and now we can go on.
A quick point there, it's important to note what I love to say that was so good. I love to say we proceed with context, not with caution. Because what the fear has come about, if you think about the media industry and the acting industry, right? Every movie that has come about with artificial intelligence in it has been on the negative side, right? So we're programmed to think AI is a bad thing. We're programmed to think this cannot help me. But like you said, AI is here and here to stay. So we need to augment that and see how it can amplify who we really are. But I just wanted to put that out there. I know that the voice, AI voice generated industry is scheduled to be $1 billion, $6.4 billion industry actually by 2033. So this is an opportunity that I think we need to study and provide access and pathways for actors to take advantage of and not be taken advantage of.
Yes. Also, I will add to that because it doesn't just affect actors; it affects the writers, the directors. It affects the filmmaker, good and bad. AI is not the monster; it's who's handling it that can become the monster. Just like that biblical term or big biblical passage that says, "The love of money is the root of all evil." It's not money, but it's how money is used. It's how people are manipulated because of money. And so with AI, it's the same thing. It's the manipulation of a piece of tech that is neither good nor bad. It's again how you use it. If you're using it for ill gains, then it's not good. If you are keeping people from making their living because you are greedy, you're greedy, and you think that by using AI you can eliminate the actors. You know, when we were on just a little bit more of information, when we were striking last year, one of the things that some of the extra agencies were trying to do to the extras was to get them to sign off for $100 or $95 their likeness. So they would get used for a half a day and that would be it. And then they could use them forever. They could use their likeness forever without paying them, which is so morally corrupt. It is insanity that people think, okay, I'm going to do this. I don't need you. I just need you that one time. It's like, no, you don't get that. And so, I want to share the good stuff because, in full disclosure, I have been working with you for the last 5 months and I've learned so much about AI and I have gotten excited about it because I was like, well, let me find out what this is. Because just like smartphones, when they first came out and people were like, oh no, you can't live without a smartphone. I don't know many people well, I know two people who refuse to get a smartphone, but then they have everybody else use their smartphone to help them. It's like, get your own smartphone, man. Your pride or your angst about it is not doing anybody any good. First of all, I want to find out what got you involved in working with AI.
Sure. My story starts back with how I'm wired, right? My background is operations and logistics management, and I've always loved systems, always wanted to be more efficient. So I learned systems in the manufacturing environment in Ford Motor Company. I was always wired that way, but in that environment, data had to be accurate, and their system did not give me accurate information all the time. So I created things that gave me the correct data. So I created my own systems, whether it be a database, and then I put all the bells and whistles on it. I wanted to turn green when it did this, or turn red to give me a signal. So I will always research systems. And then as technology evolved, systems came out, the technology would come out the platform. So I knew what I was looking for. So I made my own, then I researched the ones that were created, and I would coach my clients and companies and small businesses on how to become more efficient, just using these tools. So when AI came about, it was just a natural progression to say, okay, if we're being 10 times more efficient now, AI can take us to 100 times more efficiency. So it was a natural progression from my systems and operations background.
And can you share with us when you decided to start your AI Builders Academy?
Yeah, so I was coaching business clients and small businesses in AI. And I had an opportunity to connect with the organization that allowed me to pitch to investors. And I knew that the mission was bigger. And I said, I do more than coaching. And some harmful stats that are out there, very well known, very common, is that women get less than 2% of venture capital funding. That means investments for their business, compared to men, as well as we only own 17% of tech businesses. So I said, we don't just learn AI, we are going to build with AI. We're going to come against those statistics to say that, we only own 17% of tech businesses. So the AI Builder Academy was born from that experience to say, we do more than coach, we're going to build. So we transform curious learners into confident leaders, and then we transform consumers into creators.
So, with that being said, I came upon your academy and heard you speaking and actually making some stuff through AI, and I got excited. I was like, "Ooh, I need to know this." So I signed up and started learning valuable information to help. One of the things that I will say is that AI has been around longer than 2 years. It has been, we've been using AI capabilities for quite a while. It's just that with ChatGPT, then all of a sudden, all the bells and whistles, all the screaming started. Oh my God, it's happening. But we use it with our smartphone. We use it with many things. So I want to educate that actor out there to let them know AI's been happening. They've been using AI in films for quite a few years. I remember Gladiator. There was an actor who died during the middle of production, and they actually generated his image to finish the project. We've also had AI generated stuff when we've had to use in films big scenes with a lot of people in the background, that they have used it. So it's been going on for a while, but I think that ChatGPT brought the fear out. So can we just start with ChatGPT? We know the cons, but let's talk about some of the pros. First of all, how do you use ChatGPT? I think is important.
Sure, for sure. And ChatGPT is really the tip of the iceberg, as you know, right? I know it's one of your favorites, but we also, just for the audience,
Well,
obviously.
actually, my favorite is Perplexity AI. That is my favorite. But I do like Chat GPT, but Perplexity is my favorite. I want everybody to know I am a Perplexity evangelista.
Awesome. It's funny that you said, AI has been around a long time, and it has. Actually, 1956, back at Dartmouth University, there were some men that gathered in a room, and that's when artificial intelligence was really a term was put to it, and they imagined what we're living in right now. This is a time that we have never, ever, ever seen before. I joke about the Jetsons and how we used to have Rosie, and I forgot what the robot dog's name was, but now we see OpenAI has Formula One and Formula Two, which are like robots, and is doing dishes. So that's in development. So before, there was this group of men in this room back in 1956, and they were working on AI and what does this look like, right? But now you fast forward to 2024, there are just more rooms and pockets of people that are distributed around the world now working on AI. So this is a time we have open access. I have this continuum that I use, and it goes from access all the way to addiction. So we have open access for when ChatGPT came out. It's no longer with the people that were in the room in 1956, but now it's open access. And then there's this adoption phase where I'm learning this feels right, I understand it. And then there's an acceleration phase where you say, I use this to power my life and business. This is good. And then the healthy addiction phase. That's where I think you are right now. You're like, give me more. I want to learn more AI. So I wanted to put that in there because you are so right. We have been using it since way back in 1956. But to your point, Siri on our phones and Alexa and the things that we use, and see, Siri is answering me right now on my phone, right? AI has always been here. It's just our adoption of it. So to get to your point in terms of how do we use AI, in particular, maybe Chat GPT for good. I know you and I, what we've done is done a lot of GPT building, right? So it allowed us to build custom GPTs for a specific purpose.
Can you tell
Mhm.
the audience what a GPT is?
Absolutely. So ChatGPT as a whole is a large language model or chat feature that uses a large language model that we interact with it's a conversational AI to produce an output. A custom GPT is on the inside of ChatGPT, and it allows you to create basically an assistant, or you may hear a bot. and it's called a GPT because it's in ChatGPT. But basically, you can train a team member, a consultant, a script writer, an editor, a director, coaching, acting coach, whatever, an emotional well-being, mental wellness coach, right? As you're going through the strike, you can create and train this assistant or bot or GPT, like we just said, for a specific use. You want to share some that you've made, Lydia?
Yeah.
Some of the bots?
What I will say is that in playing around with ChatGPT, for me, it's not something that replaces anybody. It's just something that gives you better tools. First of all, I'm gonna say I like to use ChatGPT as a spitball session. Like I will put stuff in there to get feedback and go, okay, this is interesting. No, this isn't really what I wanted to do, to clarify my thoughts, and then I can go and have discussions with real people. So I don't use it in lieu of real people. I just use it as a prepping tool to get me where I want to go. With that being said, um, with Cynthia, uh, I've had ideas that I wanted to put in place. And now I get to play with it through the GPTs to make my own GPTs, like on the emotional well being of actors, how to be able to get more confidence. Sometimes as actors, we are very insecure. So what can I come up with that can help actors be more secure in those moments right before they have to do a self tape, or they have to talk to someone in the industry and they're totally freaking out, to give them a sense of calm. If you can't reach a friend to bring you back down from that anxiety mountain, that ChatGPT does a pretty good job if you train it. It doesn't just give you the stuff, you have to train it. And that's what I've been learning, is how to train the ChatGPT to um, help other actors. So for me, it's been a wonderful tool to use in training, and in using it as my social media assistant, using it as my press assistant. I've learned how to make press releases, because when you are a new actor, or an actor who doesn't make over a certain amount of money, what kind of tools are you using to help you with your career? So for me, it's been very effective to help me put stuff together, create templates, and then I go back and I update it. It's not perfect, and I want everybody to know that ChatGPT makes a lot of mistakes. And so you, the human, have to be able to sort out those mistakes and go, okay, this ain't right, ChatGPT. What I love in working with you is that when it doesn't act right, that we're able to go and say, that is not what I want. I need you to do it again.
I think that's an important point that you said, because we're leveraging it and we're using it. It's not using us. It's oftentimes, like you said, that ChatGPT or AI will make a mistake and or say, it's so funny. It's like an employee sometimes where they're trying to take a break, right? I said, hey, can you do X, Y, and Z? And they would respond, or it would respond, oh, I can't do that. And then I would have to challenge it and say, well, with your latest update, it says that you can. Oh, let me go and check that out. And then it will perform the function, right? So the human is still in control. I use it like you. I use it for ideation. It's definitely my co-creation collaboration partner. I do it to understand my avatar better. I'd love to explore and like brainstorm real quick in terms of how actors could use it. Imagine script analysis, right? If you have to look at a full script, you can upload the full script to ChatGPT, and then it can give you what you're looking for. What is the through line here?
Well, you can't upload the whole thing unless you have permission. That is something that is good. It will not let you upload somebody else's work. So you have to say, I have permission to do this. I do appreciate that. but it does break stuff down for you. It does give you, doesn't mean you don't do your homework and you don't read the whole script, but it'll give you a better understanding, in case you can't get to the acting coach right away. This is not so you don't have an acting coach. I want to make it very clear, because chat gpt, again, doesn't get things right all the time, and having a real coach reading that script or those sides to say to you, and they know you and they know how you operate as an actor, to be able to say to you, okay, uh, Cynthia, let's try it this way. Um, let's do this take. A chat GPT is still rigid. So it's just giving you a version. It's not like a person, even though we train it, it still lacks empathy. It cannot uh really give you the feeling, even though you can put in the prompt, please make this more exciting and more engaging. It still doesn't have the same feel as a human being. It is just a tool to help you make things a little easier.
For sure. And it's spot on. I'm a proud coach over here. I'm a proud coach because it's exactly what we talk about. And I think it's important. Now, I'll interject this here. There's two phases or two sides to learning AI. We have a toolkit, but we also have a mind kit. And what we find is tools are going to change every single day. They're changing every week. They're releasing something new. It's the oohs and ahs, the bells and the whistles. They're all out there, right? But the mind kit is more important. And this is how I describe the right mind kit to develop this AI agility, if you will, to remain flexible and go with this tide and learn as you go. And that is, you have to have the right mindset, the right muscle memory, and the right mark. So the mindset is how you view AI. Like, it's not here to replace me. I don't need to be afraid of it. Let's dig into this and see how I can use it. Then your muscle memory, or your methods, is another one. Your methods is how you learn AI. So just like you have created GPTs, it's important to get a kind of schedule. This is how I'm going to learn AI every day or interact with AI in some form or fashion. And then your muscle memory is kind of like when we walk and you start exercising, your body remembers. So as you interact with AI, you begin to understand and say, okay, I get this. And your mind goes, I understand what this AI is doing, or I understand how I can use it better. And this is what you're talking about right here, is your mark, the sauce, the way you're wired. Nobody can show up to an AI like Lydia, right? Nobody's going to prompt it like you. Nobody has your background, your experience, your connection, your mindset. So somebody else who uses AI in a different way, it's not going to sound like you. Nobody can do it for you, right? So I think that's the most important point, is that mark. And I use that when I say it, I use a thumbprint because it's so unique. It's so amazing. You're so distinctive that nobody can replace the you. So what we do is we use AI to do all these things so you can show up bigger as the best part of you here.
I am really enjoying AI. I'm just going to do a little side note again for my actors. Our union is on the case, and they are taking such good care of us, and I am so proud that we have Duncan Crabtree Ireland fighting on our behalf, because he is dynamite. And I just want to say that, because he is like a dog with a bone, and he's going to make sure that we are protected. To those actors listening who are union, please make sure you vote in every election. Please be informed, not misinformed. Don't take other people's information and that might be corrupt. Corrupted, not that they're corrupt, but sometimes we get wrong information. Sometimes you put the wrong thing in the computer and you corrupt it. It's no good. It's not working. So pay attention to everything that is in the SAG-AFTRA website so that you are well informed. It is important. We want the union to be the best. That means we have to feed it to be the best. Just like we're talking about AI, that you train it, you feed it. It's the same with the union. You've got to feed it. You've got to be in it to win it. You can't sit on the sidelines and expect the union to do everything for you, and you don't even vote. You don't get out there. You don't support. You don't show up. You got to show up. It's your union. It's our union. We have to take authority, and we have to take ownership of it being our union, and stop punking out, and stop using the union when it benefits you, but then you're not using it for all of us. So that's a little PSA for you, okay? I just want to put that out.
I think that's a great example, though, Lydia, about what you get out of something, what you put into it. Just like you talked about the union. If you don't participate, if you don't vote, if you don't provide your input, you are going to be disappointed with the output. And it's the same thing with AI. I love to hear this term. It was garbage in, garbage out, but someone reframed it and said goodness in, goodness out. So you get what your effort that you put into it.
I love how you've taught me to do the prompts. That prompts, when you're using AI, is so important. It's important how you speak to it so that you can get the maximized rewards from it. You have to speak to it in a certain way. You have to be very specific. It doesn't operate in the general. The more specific you are, the better the answer you get. I love having learned that, because it reminds myself to be a better communicator in general with everybody, be more specific, not just with AI, but in life. You're not a mind reader, so if I don't tell you exactly what I want, you won't know. And that's how AI works. If you don't tell it exactly what you want, it's not going to give you the desired result.
I love to use the example of a teenager cleaning the room, right? You say, go clean your room. No, you want to be very specific. I don't want any clothes on the floor, under the bed. I don't want everything has a place. There shouldn't be anything stuffed on the floor in the closet. I want everything clean. How do I want it clean? I want it to look like before when I cleaned it for you last weekend. I don't want it to smell like boiled eggs in here. I want it to have a fresh smell. You get very specific. I don't want to smell smelly socks in here, right? I want to pristine. I want you to act like you are an award-winning janitorial service, right? You get real specific. I don't want you to go downstairs. I don't want you to clean the garage. I want you to clean this room. So it's just like that. It's setting the context. If you think about it, AI has access to all these billion data points and all of this information. And you're asking for something very specific. If you don't set the context, if you don't set the framing, it's going to pull everything and just give it to you. And you're like, wait a minute, I don't want that. So you have to set the context. So that's very, very, very good point.
Also, in putting information in, you could tell it not to share it, because that's another fear that people have, that if I put information into chat gpt, everybody's going to have access to it. They do give you the option not to have it out there.
This is true. And I think that's an important point. So while I am an AI enthusiast, I am pro AI, I'm like, let's dive in, let's learn. We also, again, proceed with context, not with caution, just to be aware. So that's another reason at the end of the day that we need to learn AI and have this AI agility, because it's going to progress so fast. There is an AI literacy component to this too, just to be able to navigate the world. There's 70 million Americans that are functionally illiterate. That means they don't read and write and comprehend at the same level as somebody who's literate. So what does that mean? That means they could be taken advantage of. They have less opportunities for employment, which leads to healthcare, which leads to housing. So there's a ripple effect. They can get, again, taken advantage of because they don't understand things the same way, and they have obstacles to navigate the world. Where AI is not coming, like you already said, is already here. So if you don't have a certain level of AI literacy, you can be taken advantage of, or you will not be able to navigate this new digital world just by being educated. Forget using it for your good. You need to know what's possible. So that's why I encourage people to at least stay abreast and stay aware of what's possible with AI. There was an example where there was a somebody had cloned their daughter's voice, a family's daughter's voice, and they called the family and said, "Hey, mom, you got my stuff out here. You post the first day of school pictures and you have your information out there." And what happened was the fake voice called the family and asked for a certain amount of money as a ransom, and said that, if you don't send this, then, I'm going to be harmed. Well, it wasn't the daughter. It was a deep fake is what they call them when they clone another person, a voice and face and all of that. So what happens is it was for an example to say this is the risk of using AI, or the world that we live in, should I say. So do we not use it because of that? No. What we do is, for that instance, for example, you have a code word. And if you don't know this code word for this family, if I don't call you and say squirrel or whatever that word is, then it's not me. This is not a real request. So there are some very serious concerns out there. It's a election year. So, there's a lot of misinformation that could be disseminated. So there is definitely the case to learn AI regardless. Because you could believe something about a candidate or an election or an event that is totally not true, right? So because things are out there, they're looking real realistic, right? So you can be misled if you are not leaned into what's possible with AI.
And I think it's very important for actors to know the information. As an actor, you need to know the information. You are bringing characters to life. You are participating in films and television and plays. You want to be informed. You want to be just as informed as you are about the role, to be informed about the production company, be informed about who you're working with, so so if you go into the lion's den, you go with a gun. You go prepared. You're not coming and going da 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 da. Oh my God. I've heard really bad things about this person, so I'm gonna be on top of it. If I see something, I'm gonna say something. We cannot afford, not just as actors but as human beings, not to be informed, not to do our own homework, which is why I love Perplexity AI. Cynthia introduced me to Perplexity AI, and that has become my new best friend because I use it as a research tool when I'm getting ready to do my interviews, or I'm going to have a meeting with somebody and I don't quite know who they are. Even when I do know them, I will go into Perplexity.ai and say, please tell me who Cynthia Respert of AI Build Her Academy is. And then it'll give me information. And what I love about it is that people that I've known for years and years and years, putting their names into Perplexity.ai has given me information that I didn't know about them. Sometimes it's erroneous, but it gives me, and then sometimes it's like, wow, I didn't know that they did this, I didn't know that they had that. I've known this person 30 some years and didn't even know that they were connected in this way to this group or this person. And so as actors, we have to do our research. I say that all the time. My planner, Acting Smarter Now, it is about research. As an actor, you have to research who the director is, research who the producer is, research who the writer of the project is. So you have ample information. So you don't go in there and not, the worst thing is to work with somebody, you don't know who they are, and then you find out a year later and you go, oh my God, I didn't know this. But if you go in, and I have booked work, and this has been years that I've been researching for years and years and years, and I didn't have AI to go and say, tell me who so and so is. In the old days, I would have to go buy directories, and sometimes those directories are already out of date. I would have to go and read all the trade magazines to get little bits of information. And now with the internet and with certain AI tools, we can get that quickly. Before IMDb, that we would have to go to the academy to look at the academy book that had where the who the agents were, who they represented. We don't need that book in the same way today, because we can go to IMDb, you can type it in. And what's great about Perplexity, I need to have some stock in it. But what is great about Perplexity is that it is like a Wikipedia. It gives you all the information that's on the internet on that person. So, and if you can't find any information on that person in Perplexity, then you may want to think again that maybe what they've told you is not true, because at least the last 7 8 years, if an industry professional has done stuff, it's going to show up on the internet. If they told you that they worked with so and so and so and so, and there's nothing on them, they have no prints on the internet, they're not, you cannot find them, something is wrong. They should have something on video, or some kind of article, or at least be able to a bio on them. So I like perplexity.ai. I think there are some great AI tools for actors that we should know about.
That's such a great segue to the conversation of the amplification of the genius, right? So it's it's very important for us to recognize the evolution of technology and how fast it is enabling us, right? So sometimes we get caught up, and my friend calls them monuments, to say, man, if it took me 10 hours to do this before, and I went to the academy and I looked in the book and I did the hard work and I earned this spot to be a better actor, versus using AI to get you further faster, right? So now I can just put it into a computer or a device, and I can get all of this information. And what it does, it allows you to have a further starting point, to now you can do the analysis. Now you can get into your character more. Now you can get into your interview prep more, in the human part, right? That only you can do. So I think it's important to remember that we don't give all of the kudos to people who just did it the hard way, right? And I think that's part of why AI gets a bad rap. Is I was talking to someone before, and they were in sales. It's like AI just makes you lazy, and I'm like, listen, if I get the same information and training that you got, and I execute, I just got it faster than you. That's all, right? We got the same results. I just got the information faster. So I think it's important for us to embrace what you just talked about, in terms of leaning into the positive sides of how can this AI help me.
How can it make you more effective? Because it takes work to work AI. You have to have some kind of smarts to prompt AI and ask it certain
Hmm.
questions. It's not for the
It makes
stupid.
you it makes you a better question. It makes you a better question asker. It makes you more inquisitive. It even gives you, if you're at a loss for words, it kind of cures that blank page syndrome, right? So you're like, what do I, it'll give you a prompt, and then you get you down that bunny trail, especially Perplexity does that very well. So I think that's good. Also, there's industry trends to look at. So did you see that Lionsgate and Runway have a partnership? So Lionsgate, the big media company, Runway ML is a AI generated video company, and they have a historic partnership where they are taking Lionsgate material and allowing them to create faster, right? Tyler Perry, this was a couple months ago now, but Tyler Perry had an $800 million investment in his studio. He said, well, wait a minute, let me look at this AI trend and see what I need to do to be more, like you said, efficient. That's wisdom. That's stewardship. Why do it the hard way? You don't get a gold medal because you sunk $800 million into something that could have been 20 million, right? So I think it's just the way that we leverage AI is the game changer.
Yeah, and it going back to mindset. Mindset has to shift. There has to be, how do I use this for good? How do I use this to be more effective? In talking about AI, it has made me think more about how am I phrasing stuff, because sometimes I'll put down my initial thoughts and it won't give me what I want. Okay. What's a better word? What's a better phrase? What's a better? So in that sense, you are working your brain on a whole nother level. It's like yeah, I like playing Scrabble. And the thing with Scrabble is you got to figure out, you only have 3 words or 4 words, and you got to figure out where it's going to fit on that table. How can you get the maximize points for the minimal words that you use? 2 words can score you big if you know where to position them. And I think AI is the same way. It's like, but you have to put in the brain power. You have to think about it. I also love that Canva, my other favorite tool, has brought over AI on a bigger scale, because it was using it before quietly, but now it's on a bigger scale. And to me, Canva is a great friend to the actor. It helps you write your resume. There's so many things you can do with Canva for $20 or $30 a month, that if you went to the printer, it would cost you hundreds and hundreds of dollars. And I know, because I used to spend thousands of dollars at the printer every few months in getting resumes, or typesetting my picture with my name on the bottom of it. So many things, your card, getting a business card made, or getting a postcard made. It was so much money. And with Canva, you can get all of that stuff done, like I said, 20 to $30 a month. You can use the free version. Some of these things you can use the free version. The downside of that is that you don't get to store the information. You can use the free version of Canva, but then all the really cool little icons and stuff, they charge you. So that adds up. So you might as well get the monthly subscription, and then at the end of the year you can deduct it because it's part of your business. And so for me, AI I mean, there's certain things that I find creepy, and I will not be playing with hygiene or a couple of things, because I think as an actor, it don't it no good. It no good for the actor. But there, it's not my that I don't care for.
However, the good part of that is you are aware that that exists. Imagine not even knowing that that exists. It's because you are immersing yourself in it. Something that I like to say is to run AI labs. That means learn and produce something saucy. LAPS. Learn and produce something saucy. This is how we learn. This is how we are aware that these avatars exist, right? This is how we get into this AI agility that we need and away from the fear because we know what it's capable of. So I think that's important. Run AI labs for 30 minutes every day or listen, if you don't learn something at least once a week, I was talking about this earlier today. If you don't learn something new at least once a week, you will get behind. Like things are advancing that quickly, right? So I say 30 minutes a day, and it could be reading something. It could be using a new tool. It could be having a conversation with ChatGPT or another chat model. It could be building something, doing something in those micro places. If we're speaking in the context of actors, I think it would be super cool if we like went back and forth real quick and gave them use cases of how they could use AI, right? How could actors use AI to help further their career or make them more efficient? If we want to do like a back and forth, like super quick
Okay, you start.
publicity.
Publicity.
Monologue. Monologue creation.
You can use it for finding agents and sending them emails because
Hmm.
they're better written with the help of a chat GPT.
Hmm. Building a GPT as an acting coach.
Also using AI for prepping your photos.
Absolutely. What about learning characters, character development, getting into how a character thinks, feels, and acts, so then they can bring that character to life in a better way?
Creating an emotional diary or journal through your chat GPT to help you when you are getting a certain role. And if you are putting your emotions in and saying, you had this sort of day and this is what it made you feel, and this was the person who prompted that, then you can use that as sense memory when you're doing a character or a scene
Mhm.
that requires that type of emotion.
Research a character if they're playing a historical figure or they're doing a true to life story, to research a character in more detail in a quick, concise manner.
As well as researching the period, what they wore, what they ate, how they got from place to place, what kind of transportation they use.
I think what we're saying is that actors could use this to take their acting game to another level. I think that's what we're saying. I think that's what we're saying.
Without it hurting your integrity, without it hurting your creative process. It just makes it better.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Um, yeah, it's here. It's not coming. It's actually here right now. And we need to use it to empower everything that we do. It could, we didn't get to this. Let's do an acting schedule. When are you going to rehearse? How are you going to, digest this whole script in a way that you'll be ready when it's time to, when it's showtime. Now, the other thing I want to lean into, like super quick, is we talked about some positive use cases, is when you understand how AI works and you can identify opportunities, especially how an actor is wired. Imagine an actor in the industry. They can then see the gaps and opportunities for AI to fill other gaps and can monetize that, right? I don't know what those things are right now, but a person who's in the industry and they're using AI in the industry, they can identify gaps and say, hey, we could be more efficient here. Or what if you created a whole AI character agency, and that is used in digital film, where you create a whole nother income stream and you create films that way as well, not taking the actor's job, but now you've just created a new industry niche that is created, because I believe that that's coming, where avatars are creating movies, right? So while we have in-person movies and they're beloved, what if you identified another gap or opportunity in the market to monetize with your expertise?
Can you tell us what an avatar is? Because there might be people watching
Sure.
that have no clue what an avatar is.
Sure. Well, you alluded to it earlier. An avatar is the image and likeness of a character or a person. So I can create a digital likeness of myself. That's an avatar. I can create a cartoon character. That's an avatar. So it's just a digital representation of a person or thing.
And the union calls it an AI replica. So that is an avatar. So I think that is fantastic. It's fantastic information, and we should be, as actors, we should be learning every day something. You know, how many of us have a smartphone, but we don't know how to program it? This smartphone has so much stuff in it. And I will say this for those of us who have iPhones, the new iPhone is going to be connected with Chat GPT. So it's here. It is here. It is not going anywhere. It's not going to disappear. It is here. just like Wi-Fi came, just like the internet came, just like so many things, Zoom. We could talk about, not many people were hip to Zoom until the pandemic came. Then Zoom became part of our language. It's like, let's get on Zoom. History tells us time and time again, once something comes, it's not going away. It's just going to continue to grow. We're not, we have lights, we have electricity, we have all this thing is not going away unless you go into the wilderness and you decide on purpose that you will not use electricity. But almost everything we have today uses electricity, to the point that cars are now running on electric stuff.
No one is mad at Henry Ford that he made the car. Nobody's like, oh my gosh, I wish I could just walk everywhere. No one is mad that the airplane was invented. No one is mad that now we don't need the milkman to come to our door and put it in the little chute. Now, I wasn't alive back then, but you know what I'm saying. I know it exists, right? So we're not, as
I was a
we
little
are.
kid. I was a little kid and I remember the milkman coming with the cart. I was a little kid, but I remember that the milkman and the iceman, that back in the day, they had an iceman for the ice box, not refrigerator. So I do remember that as a little kid. But it is, technology continues to move. I remember when I first got my first computer, the guy said, well, 18 months, every 18 months technology moves. Well, that's not the case anymore. Technology moves maybe every 6 days. But it's no longer 18 months. Your stuff becomes obsolete if it, and I'll speak for Apple because I am an Apple user. It's like their systems, they'll stop working on the system after a couple of years. They'll tell you, well, you got to go to a third party because we don't carry that anymore. What? I just bought this 2 years. Yeah, we don't. We've moved on. And so we have to be savvy as actors. We have to be savvy, especially as we are living in an age where our auditions are mainly through self tapes, meaning you have to know technology to do your self tape. And here is another place where AI can assist you.
Absolutely. Robots aside or AI aside, that's who you're competing against. This is a very common phrase. I didn't make it up, and some may be tired of hearing it, but it's AI will not replace you. You'll be replaced by someone who's using AI, right? So if you have two human actors that's able to get their rehearsal down to a schedule, to a science, or get the character development and bring it to life in a better way. You're competing against that actor who's using his time, his or her time more efficiently and effectively using AI versus you doing it the old school way to earn your stripes, right? There's no honor, there's no extra paycheck, there's no the person who gets to the finish line the best and the most efficient and can show up and bring that character to life. That's who's going to win this race. And again, I lean into the other side. When you are in the room, we talk about being in the room. Certain information is when you're in the room. When you're in the education environment of AI, then you will spot, because you're wired a certain way, you'll spot opportunities to create. That's what it's supposed to do. Empower us to create something, not just be used by it, but to create. You say, oh, I can do this, or we can do this, right? But unless you're in the room, you don't even know that those things are possible.
Being tech savvy is just as much part of the actor as taking acting classes. I was on set for a TV show last week, and I was in awe as to how many people had their iPads doing stuff on their iPads on set. Just things were rolling, and they're flowing with technology. They're I didn't see many people holding a script. Everybody was on iPads. They were moving forward with technology, and so we have to be savvy. Um, we have to be just as savvy technically as we are with our acting abilities. So I just want to say how much I love learning from you. I mean, I come to the classes excited every week. I send you little notes every time I see some. Look at what I found. And I love it. I mean, my radar is wired now. Anything AI, I'm paying attention because I do enjoy it. I do find it very helpful. And I'm not, because I have dyslexia, and I've shared this with you, that sometimes things get a little difficult for me. But I find with AI, I flow with it. I don't know why, but I don't have the same challenges as I have with textbooks sometimes, or reading. It's like, one of the things that I use as a tool is I will have my written word, and I will listen to it. So if it's a book, I will get it on Audible so I can read and listen at the same time. If there's not an Audible, I will put it into my Kindle, and then my trusty phone will give it to me in voice text to speech, so I can still read it and hear it. It's a little robotic, but it gets the job done. So I think the more we know about technology as actors, the better off, or any kind of creative, the more we know about technology, the better we can sharpen our tools as actors.
Absolutely. And I'm so proud of you. I'm so proud of you because I'll tell the audience, day one I was or week one I was giving her AI information and news, and hey, this is how the industry is going, and did you know this, and hey, just heads up about this. Week two, Lydia came in with news herself and said, "Hey, I learned this AI. I learned this about the industry, right?" So I think that's so important. That's a part of that mindset and that muscle memory that you have, which is why you're so successful with it today, is because you jumped right in and you were open to learning. And I think that's the key here, is just viewing AI again. AI is intended to be an extension of us, an amplification of our genius, not the extinction of us. And I think that's if we have that important mindset, I think we'll go far.
And I think older actors, I really encourage you to start learning technology, because it's not the monster you think it is. It is a skill set that really will help you. I have a 92-year-old neighbor who isn't a retired actor, and he's always calling me because he's always learning something. With the computer, I need, show me how to do this. Show me how to do this. And for me, that's really exciting because he keeps me on my toes. Well, I don't know how to do that. Let me go find out. Let me go look at a YouTube video. I'll come back. But that sometimes as actors we get frustrated, and we kind of go, I can't learn that. That's too much. You can learn it. If I can learn it, you can learn it. If I can adapt to it, you can adapt to it. I did not graduate from college, but I've taken a lot of college courses on the internet. And I know that your learning doesn't stop. You should learn something new every day. Cynthia said once a week, do something AI. I say do something every day. And it doesn't have, you can do it 10 minutes.
I agree.
Yeah, do
Yeah.
something every day that will help you. Watch videos, listen to people, go, get your nephew, niece, grandchild, great grandchild to show you how to operate your phone in a more effective way, because they are so savvy with technology that even if you learn one app a month, a lot more to offer as an actor. It makes you more valuable. It makes you more hire you. You're hireable if you have these skills. We talk about in the acting world, we talk a lot about, you need to have your social media, and you need to have engagement, and you need to have an audience. Well, AI helps with that. There are a lot of tools you could be using in your social media. We didn't cover that in the back and forth, but there are a lot of great tools you can use in social media to help you get the thing. I go back to Canva. Well, you can create posts on Canva. You can create little videos and then just put it up on social media. You CapCut is another wonderful app that's also AI generated. There's so many that we don't realize are AI tools, but someone said use it. And we go, okay, well, I'm using that. I say to you, do your homework and find out what tools you're using right now that and find out if they have AI to them. You're going to be shocked at what you've been using.
When you see that little star icon, it's like a group of three stars. That's a very good point. Is that AI is here. So every company is integrating AI in some way, shape or fashion. So when you see that little star, look for, and that goes with the AI first mindset, look for how AI is integrated into this tool. How can I use AI for this tool? Even me being immersed in it every single day. And by the way, I agree. Every single day, do something. The once a week was an example, and if you wait once a week, you'll be behind. But even if you do that and you learn something every single day and you lean into that, that is how it goes to this muscle memory that you have, right? So I forgot how I started that sentence, but I definitely wanted to echo looking for how that AI first mindset is. How is this being used in this platform that I'm already using? Canva, like you said, had a little bit, but now it's more and it's integrating. Runway ML is now integrating with Lionsgate, right? There's in Asana and Airtable and all the things. ClickUp has it. If it doesn't have AI, it will not be around too long. That's the main thing, right? So I think that's an important point for sure.
And also thinking of it, we were analog, now we're digital. It's a similar thing, you can only do so much with analog. Certain things you can use, but they're trying to phase out a lot of analog. I had a deep discussion with the person at the phone company because I still have a landline, and they were trying to get me to let go of the land. I said, no, I want both. I need both until you shut down every pole. I'm keeping my landline, and so
You're gonna
I
be the
know what
last
it's
one
like.
standing.
That's right. I know what it's like to want to hold on to the analog stuff, but I am also learning the digital way. It's like learning both, because then you see the value in each of them. You see that, it's not that this one is obsolete so much, although they try to make it obsolete. It's just that this one makes things a little better.
It's evolving. And you brought up the landline. It's so funny. I was going to bring up that same example. We were doing a project and it was with a phone partner. I won't mention it here, but there was a young lady in the school and she said, "Hey, are you with that company?" I said, "No, we're just doing an event." She said, "Hey, they said they're going to cut off my landline. What am I supposed to do?" I said, "Well, I can't help you with that." But what I was saying earlier was me being in it every day, I still sometimes I try to figure something out on my own. And then I say, wait a minute, let me go to ChatGPT or let me go to AI and have it help me figure this thing out. So even being immersed in it every day, there's that muscle memory that you have to develop. And that is what contributes to your AI first mindset. I just wanted to add that for sure.
So I want, can you tell people how they can find you, how they can find your Build Her Academy, in case I've affected them in a way that they're now interested?
Absolutely. We have various programs, but I'm going to tell you about the community because that is the sauce. I am Cynthia Respert on all platforms, LinkedIn, Facebook, and Instagram. However, the AI Builder Academy is also on LinkedIn and Facebook, the AI Builder Academy. And to get to the community is www.aibuilders.com. BUILDHERS.com. And I didn't say this at the beginning, but we have a bold mission to equip and empower 100,000 women to create tech enabled solutions that move the world and impact generations. We're transforming curious learners to confident leaders and from consumers into creators. Women are innate builders. We build families, we build communities, we build movements. Again, like I said, that move the world and impact generations. So we take those ideas and bring them to life through tech. So join us, www.aibuilders.com.
And you guys are invited too. We have some men in the program, so yeah, you're not isolated from this.
No, it's a BYOB though. Bring your own brilliance is what we like to say. BYOB. Bring your own brilliance. And we do have some men in there. And they said, well, I'm not a her, but I like this. I want to learn more. So we do have men, so you're invited to join as well. You'll just be surrounded by a lot of brilliance. That's all.
Yes, yes, and they are fabulous. So more AI to come, people. More AI to come. You started it off by saying AI is not to take over, but it's to help you. I like how you phrase it. So if you could phrase it one more time for me.
What I'd like to leave you with is AI is intended to be an extension of us, not the extinction of us. And what that means is AI is used to amplify the very best parts of us, the genius in us, and we'll leave the rest to the computer. It's not here to take you out, but it's here to make you better.
I just thought of iRobot. For people who saw iRobot, that was an AI robot who came to take over the world. And that's
Mhm.
not what we're talking about today.
No. And I think that is why, not I think, I am certain. That is why there is a fear of artificial intelligence, especially when you don't know what it is. You think of those movies. We've been programmed to think this is what's going to happen. The robots are going to take over the world. Or I Am Legend, where he was the only one left and it was only robots that were around, right? So all of the movies for decades have depicted artificial intelligence in a negative way. So this is a new opportunity for us to show the other side and live the other side.
Oh my goodness, that was great information from Cynthia. She taught us how we could train AI to help us and not hurt us. If you love this, like I did, please give me a thumbs up and give me a comment on what stood out for you. And while you're at it, buy me a coffee. But don't go anywhere because I got another great video for you. This one, I am sharing with you the 5 AI sites that will help you in your acting career.